Okay, for this tutorial, what I'm going to do is take this photo of a light bulb and use the channel method of selecting the light bulb and having the glass be transparent when I paste it into a different image. So I went ahead and made a selection, just a straight selection of the light bulb first. And you can do that with either the lasso tool or the pen tool or whichever method you prefer. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and load that selection. Either go up to select, load selection, and choose whatever the name of the channel is, or just hold down the command key and click on the little thumbnail of the alpha channel. So once I have the light bulb selection loaded, I'm going to copy the actual picture of the light bulb. And then in my channels tab, I'm going to create a new channel. Just hit OK. And then make sure you actually go to that channel, that it's highlighted in blue, and that the eyeball is just turned on next to that new channel you created. Then you can go up to Edit, Paste, and that will put the image of the light bulb into that channel. So from here, it just kind of depends on what the image is that you're working with. You just have to keep in mind that the rule is if it's black, it's completely transparent. If it's white, it's completely opaque. And then just all the shades of transparency fall in between that. So one thing I know about this image is that anything that's metal is going to be non-see-through. So like this wire that's going through the middle of it, the little metal part at the bottom, all of that's going to be completely opaque. So what I need to do is invert this image because it's kind of the opposite of that right now. So I'll hit Command I to invert the image. And then from here you just have to also kind of look at the image and decide what if the image is actually okay the way it is or if you need to make any adjustments. Here it's a little bit dark, I think, so I'm going to go into Image, Adjustments, and I'm just going to go into Brightness and Contrast. And I'm just going to turn the brightness up about plus 65 or so. And that should get the whites whiter. Maybe I'll bump the contrast up just a little bit too. And then I'll hit OK. So from here, I just have another couple things to do here. For one, where the shiny spots are on the bottom of this light bulb, when I inverted it, they became black. But in my channel, that will mean that there's little transparent spots right there. And that would be bad. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the paintbrush and just make sure that I have got white as my foreground color and that the opacity is set to 100. And then I'm just going to brush those shades of gray out of there so that's just a solid white. And then one more thing I'll do to this, just knowing kind of how glass works, where if you're looking at the middle of the glass, you're looking through just two levels of a really thin glass, so that'll be fairly transparent there. But then as that glass curves away from your view around the edges, that it tends to look a little bit thicker, a little bit more opaque. So what I'm going to do is just take that same white paintbrush and just brush around the edges of that light bulb. So that should make the outside edges a little less transparent. So the channel should be done. So now I'm going to go back to the RGB image, the color image, and I need to load that selection. So I'll go up to Select, Load Selection, and mine happens to be called Alpha 3. It just depends on how many alpha channels you have in there. But basically load the one that's the grayscale version and hit OK. So from here, just be able to go up to Edit Copy, click over on whatever image I want to paste that into, and paste it. And then you should have a light bulb that is transparent, should be a little bit more opaque on the edges, and then a little bit more transparent in the middle. And then usually you can, once you paste it, look at it and see if there's anything that you want to fix. Like I knew there was these dark spots in the channel, and those dark spots are causing it to become more transparent right there. So once you actually see that, that's a little bit easier to go back in and repair the channel as need be. So what I'll do is I'll just go in here, and I just deselected just so that that doesn't mess anything up. And I'll probably just take the dodge tool, try setting it to shadows, and just kind of brush on that spot right there, and hopefully that'll kind of fix it somewhat. It's not going to be perfect, but as long as I make it lighter, it'll be less transparent. So then I can reload that alpha channel, copy the image again, and paste the image again. And now it should be a little bit better. Okay. Now another thing you can do with channels, I've got this other image here that I want to paste in. What I'm going to do is just make a regular rectangular marquee selection around this image. I'm just not going all the way to the edge, I'm staying a little bit to the inside. And then I'm going to go up to Select, Modify, and Feather. And just feather this selection by maybe 12 pixels or so, just to give it a little bit of a soft edge. And then I'll go up to Select and Save Selection, hit OK. So I have an alpha channel in here that looks like this. With alpha channels, you can pretty much do just about anything to them that you can do to a regular image. You're just limited to black and white, or grayscale, I should say. So for this one, what I want to do is give it kind of an irregular edge, just something a little bit more interesting than a straight edge or a soft edge. So I'm going to go up to Filter, and I'm going to go into Filter Gallery. And some of these will work and some of them won't. You just have to kind of play around and select ones that look good for you. But in this case, I'm going to go with this sprayed strokes under the brush strokes category. And you can kind of mess around with these settings too over on the right side just to get something you want. I want more of a hard edge kind of effect there. So once I have what I'm looking for, go ahead and hit OK. And that will apply that to my selection. So now all I have to do is load that channel. So load alpha 1 in this case. Go back to the color image and copy it. And then go back into your main image and paste it. I'm going to go ahead and just scale that down a little bit. And I'll kind of drop that down a layer. But you see the edge effect that it has. That it actually made the edges rough like that. So channels can do quite a bit once you get used to working with them.